Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and I will faithfully demean myself
and I will faithfully demean myself.
Back a little bit to late summer in 1968. One day Kevin came home and said, "No one's going to run for public administrator. Will you?" Now you have to, this was a great learning experience for me. It really was, and it was good for me, and I hope then and hope now that it was good in regard to a good experience for me. And, but as I said at the top, this honor really goes to Kevin and their sons, whose services to Audrain County and the state of Missouri.
We're trying to get to the point where if this is a project that's selected.
I'm still unsure.
I think, kind of what, along the same lines of what Roger's getting at is, I think we really kind of have two goals. We've got a short-term goal and we've got a long-term goal. Me personally, and with some of the folks I've talked to, they personally feel that a roundabout is the long-term solution. But, kind of what Roger's getting at is, what happens if we aren't getting that for 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do then? And it sounds to me like a majority of the folks wish that we would see something done with the speed limit, or at least attempt to do something with the speed limit.
We'd like to welcome the DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, here with us today, and I'll turn it over to them. They have a program for you all.
I'm Muriel Bashir, the regent of the Susanna Randolph chapter of DAR in Vandalia, and we decided to do this to have a quilt of valor. The next question was, and to whom are we going to give it? But first of all, it had to be made, and Vicki Wright was, I don't know whether she volunteered or was appointed or it just fell in her lap, but somehow she was in charge of having the quilt made. She chose the pattern and purchased fabric for it. The Quilt of Valor Foundation does have patterns that one can use, and they said that it can be any color combination, but most of the recipients prefer a red, white, blue combination program, and that's prison. And some of you may know they make all sorts of things for organizations and to sell and to give away. And one of their projects is quilting. After Vicki did all of this, or during this process, we decided on a recipient. It was unanimously decided that there was one gentleman in our community who met all of the standards, who was a veteran, who had served his country very valiantly, and was probably the most patriotic person that I have ever known, and probably many of you have ever known. So at this time, if Vicki would bring the quilt, we want to award the quilt to Charlie Forty.
Now, I don't know how many there are in Missouri, and several of these books are on Missouri Indians.
For sure that slavery was not a good place to be. And now that we know it, we can't go back and change anything. It's what you do from now on that counts. At one time, slave cargo was worth more than anything on the water and coal.
My name is Aggie Diamond, and I'm the president of the library board. I'm actually from Martinsburg area. I just want to thank everybody who's helped us make this project happen.
If you don't know me, my name is John Wallace. I will be your host, your MC, and your negotiator. We'll talk about that later. The originator of this event and I talked about this for a number of years and said, this is what Vandalia needs, a nice, elegant little sit-down dinner, given time and given year. You know, it's just a nice deal for everybody to come out. You can always find a benefit event going on. They go on for, might be a club, might be an organization, might be a school project, or might be a family illness or tragedy, something like that. But normally, typically, you yesterday people, and you today people, and you tomorrow people are going to be the ones that benefit for years to come for these projects. And I'll take you a little walk down memory lane here. Some of you are going to relate to this, and some of you won't. Recession here, recess. The Vandalia Fair started in 1941, about 1972 or 73. Started in 1941 and held on the yearly event. It went on every year until at the Vandalia Fairground, or the Vandalia Park down there, but swim pool, until early 1900s, or 1990s. A very, very generous donation from a family here in Vandalia, the Martin Jones family, gave us 6 grand out of South Vandalia. Here's a park. We developed our own, and just a few years ago was changed to be many, many people around Vandalia Aquatic Center. Beautiful facility. 1974 Vandalia area celebrated the centennial. Everybody brought together and had a great time there. The brick skating started in 1979 and it was held annually until just recent years it was changed over to the Prairie Days. Still again, another event that goes on to benefit a lot of people. How many of you remember the candlelight route down Main Street, evening of 1994? They brought together a lot of information, a lot of development of the prison area, and it will go on to use it tomorrow. Very interesting. Here's a good one. April 1911, the first Vandalia Library was built. Did you go there, Tom? 46 years later, a brand new building was built right up here on Main Street in 1957. 60 years later, 2017, that building was demolished. Last week, they broke ground for a brand new state-of-the-art facility going in the area. 106 years running. 2012, a group of interested citizens, energetic young citizens of Vandalia says, we would like to develop a YMCA. So they put a lot of man hours and time in developing committees and moving forward and getting grants and writing grants. Several of those people are here tonight. We recognized them a while ago. I want to again point out your rendering of the building back here in the back that Mr. Bill Howe brought up. Now I want you to give those people a round of applause because they have dedicated their last 7 years to developing what could be a very significant facility for years and years and years to come. It was built by you today. I hope you still got somebody hooked up, man. This lady here from Washington, the state of Washington, is bidding on them. I want you to know about that. You better think before you leap too far there, Tony. What I have, 550? I'm selling to you, Frank, 550. Your way. Yes, you did. There you go. Felicity Good Pasture, go well. Give her a nice big hand. She's been a good supporter of this whole deal. Ladies and gentlemen, that closes the stock exchange, so to speak. Once somebody rang the bell, we stop closing out. But nevertheless, you was a great big crowd. You get look at your papers at a picture and do something to help the youth of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been a very pleasant evening, and drive safe.
We can't close out tonight without mentioning the person who's really been the driving force behind this project from the start, and that's Felicity Goodman.
I have not been alone in this project. Bill Howe has been on this longer than I have. I think he has, we have tortured him more than once, so he deserves this round of applause. As you all go out tonight, one thing I want to think about, I judge extemporaneous speaking on Wednesday for FFA, and one of the things that the kids had no speech of, a 5-minute speech, was how do you get a young person to start farming or in an agribusiness? And I thought to myself, that is really hard. One of the statistics he said was that there are 6 million people in America and only 2 million of them living in rural America. And that number is decreasing. And I thought to myself, how do we keep young people coming back to our community? How do we keep them coming and prospering and giving back? I know several of you have also read in the paper that the school is having a little bit of a financial issue. Several of you have graduated from Van Farm, whether your class is 100 or 80 or 60. Today, the class is graduating probably somewhere around 35. So somewhere along there, we are losing kids to rural America. And how do we get it back? What is it that we need to do? I have no idea. But one thing that I think that this community could see is it takes a spark to light a fire. And I hope that this building will be that spark to light the fire in this town. So thank you all.
That I possess all the qualifications for the office of city clerk and city collector.
As prescribed by law.
As prescribed by law.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri.
The provision of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class.
The provision of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class.
And the ordinances of the city of Ladonia.
The ordinances of the city of Ladonia.
And faithfully demean myself. You're going to sign right here. I, Monty Hanson. I, Monty Hanson. Do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the office of mayor.
Do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the office of mayor.
As prescribed by law.
As prescribed by law.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri.
The provision of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class.
The provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class.
And the ordinances of the city of Ladonia.
And the ordinances of the city of Ladonia.
And faithfully demean myself in office.
And faithfully demean myself in office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
team, Charlotte. Okay, my team is Charlotte, Amy, Kaylin, Heather, my name's Jean, and then Kevin is kind of a special person. He's on our board of directors, so he's sort of like the big boss over us all. So we appreciate him volunteering his time with us today.
Can you pull out this box?
You all want to get in it with them, Jean?
Sure.
Members of both of those of our agencies able to collaborate, do a lot of good hard work, and come up with some solid leads. We did recover some human remains out of the house here in the 800 block of Lemon Street. We can't confirm that that's the missing female that we're looking for. Obviously, some forensics and some lab work needs to be done, but at this point, that's really all we know. We do have someone in custody for abandonment of a corpse. John Herman Liu II is in the Audrain County Jail. He was arrested last night, and he's been charged today with abandonment of a corpse.
Just for clarity, the Vandalia Leader was reporting based on your press release this week that she hadn't been seen in 2 years, and then she was just reported missing this week. Is that correct? Can you give
We did receive information that the last time anyone had seen her in Vandalia was approximately April of 2015. There was no activity from her. We checked multiple sources that she was in touch with. And then at that time, the sister is the one that contacted the police department, and we were able to get that missing persons report started and make the leads that we had.
So it's been 2 years since anyone had seen her in Vandalia, and then 3 days after she was reported missing, she found her body. Talk to me about the investigation and how quickly you guys were able to move to get to this location.
Well, all I can tell you right now is some names came up. We interviewed a lot of people. We worked with the sheriff's office. It was a big puzzle spread over a lot of area, and we were able to put it together with the departments we have, and that's what led us here. So.
It's not official. I also want to publicly thank the Vandalia Police Department. I mean, this was, a lot of times agencies don't really have the best cooperation. This was absolutely flawless. Everybody worked real hard, and then I want to thank the FBI for sending out their evidence recovery team out of St. Louis. We requested those guys come out here because we kind of had a suspicion what we were dealing with, and they were fabulous. A lot of resources come to bear for a small community like this, and we can't thank them enough. And the Vandalia Fire Department brought equipment out to help those guys. So, I really want to express the collaborative effort.
Our Father in the depths of our reverence, realize the truth of the inspired word, thy resurrection is life. He that believeth me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And comrade after comrade departed to embark with our rank and old citizens. Help us to be faithful to you and to one another. Look mercy on the widows and children of our departed comrades. Take care with your own tenderness, console and comfort those who are bereaved. Heavenly Father, bless our country with freedom and peace and righteousness. Through thy favor there will be at last peaceful blessings in heaven. Praise thy great name forever and ever. Amen. Ready? Aim. Fire! Fire!
I thought you.
Can we do our back dive? I'm showing him my back flip. Hey! I'm gonna try doing my back flip now.
Show support for Sir G and his family, and try to get the public to put a little pressure on Celebar to make them understand that he overcharged his case. They don't have the proof.
1, 2, 3. Straight up, straight out.
You're not ready. Those happen all the time. But time is fast. No matter what. And when we get through it, in the game, so like that. Okay? All right, we're going to bring our guys. Come back in, okay? All right, bring it down. Hold on to the ball. Okay? Like that. Go team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
November 8th, hotel uniform Lima, 1 Delta, 1 Delta, thank you, 1 Delta, Michigan.
WUA, can I get your state, please?
Ron's on 5 watts, and then what was...
Chris is on 100 watts.
He's on 100 watts.
And that's our main transmit right there that Chris is running.
Right.
That's where we're going to make our nationwide contacts. This rig here is more of a, it's what's called a GOTA.
Okay.
It's a Get on the Air. It's an acronym, stands for Get on the Air. And what that does is anybody who doesn't have a license,
right,
as long as one of us who has a license is sitting there with them, they can get on and make contacts as well.
That's
just
cool.
Something to try. And
Treasurer
of Audrain Emergency Communications Incorporated. We're an amateur radio group here to cover Audrain County. I'm also the emergency coordinator for Audrain County for ARES, which is the Amateur Radio Emergency Services. That's done through the AWRL. So we work really close with Audrain County as far as the emergency management, the Sheriff's Department, and we're starting to work more with local police departments, fire departments, ambulance, stuff like that.
What got you into ham radio to start with?
My electronics school teacher. He was a ham radio operator, and I was, at the time, I was in high school, and I was interested in electricity. A lot of my jobs is just that I've gotten in the electronics field has been networking through amateur radio. We had some new members here earlier. They left, and hopefully they'll be back.
How long has the club been going on?
Oh my, it's been on and off for way back in probably the 50s. There's been several generations. I've been involved in this club in whatever its form since, well, pretty well the beginning.
Kilowatt 5 Echo. You're talking to 1 Alpha, Missouri, MO, Mike Oscar. Could I get your class and section, please?
Follow him? Are you kidding? No way! Besides, there was no need to. We knew he'd be back. They're monsters, monsters, a lot of them. Monsters, monsters, a lot of them. We will catch the beast at night. They're monsters, monsters, a lot of them. Ugly monsters.
Threat to the backside. Because over here, we've shown action this way. They think the ball's going this way. Okay? So they're going to try to come off the edge. Comes across, get on his butt because they're going to use the ball. All right, here we go. Set. Go. Hit. Hit.
In 1990, he served in World War II from 1941 to 1945. He received 5 Bronze Stars. He loved basketball and baseball. When he returned from war in 1945, he played basketball and baseball on the Ladonia All-Town team. He loved playing slow pitch in his later years. He was a pitcher on a men's slow pitch team. When he retired from his own ball playing, he enjoyed watching his children's play. He would be very proud of this award and all the hard work the community and athletic association have put to keep the tradition alive. Thank you, Butler, for your service to this country and our town. Stanford. Vernon and Edwina spent all their free time at this ballpark. Vernon worked all day, came home to the ballpark, coached, umpired, worked on the field, worked in the stands. He coached several youth teams over his many years. He started his own co-ed slow pitch team. Where you seen Vernon, you seen Edwina was by his side helping. She kept score, worked in the stand, and played ball. There were very few nights that you couldn't find them at the ball field. They loved working with their kids and any other kids that showed up to play. They gave all to this ballpark and their family. They loved having fun at the ballpark. They were the type of people that helped make this ballpark what it is today. Thank you for your many years. And as you can see, they have a large family of grandkids, great-grandkids, kids, and they would be so proud looking down upon them right now just to see what their family has become. Thank you very much.
Got us a low-speed pursuit going on.
What was that was excellent. You all doubled your time. Use your spidey power. Poor guy's got a ball way down his head. He probably still do better than Nancy and Rob. He's kind of like a long pig around here. Go, hurry.
Cannot get blocked by the guard. Either one of them.
important to get your hands on every time.
say, I don't have that, I have this. Or the poll workers are going to say, well, do you have one of these? We just had an election up in the city of St. Louis on July 11th. Of the people that voted, 91, I believe it was between 91 and 92% of the people used their driver's license. About 6% of the people used their voter registration card. So the second most common thing is that voter registration card. That voter registration card is not a government-approved photo ID. That's what we call a secondary form of documentation. If you use one of the secondary forms of documentation, when you will have a form that you sign, it's a statement, and it has 3 statements about Missouri law. But the first one is, it says under Missouri law, you're supposed to use your government-issued photo ID to vote. Well, that's part of the law. It says, number 2, you don't possess that government-issued photo ID. That's what you told them, said, hey, I don't have that, but I've got something else. And the most important statement is number 3. Under Missouri law, the state of Missouri will provide a free government-issued photo ID for you for the purposes of voting if you don't have one.
When the crowd's into it, I think this thing I'm doing seems right. Standing in the spotlight, shaking that neon rainbow, living that honky-tonk dream. 'Cause all I ever wanted was to pick this guitar and sing. Just trying to be somebody, just wanna be heard and seen. Chasing that neon rainbow, living that honky-tonk dream. Off the coast, 5 acres and an old box truck. We're headed down to Houston for a show this Saturday night. This overhead is killing me. Half the time I sing for free. When the crowd's into it, I think this thing I'm doing seems right. Standing in the spotlight, shaking that neon rainbow, living that honky-tonk dream. 'Cause all I ever wanted was to pick this guitar and sing. Just trying to be somebody, just wanna be heard and seen. Chasing that neon rainbow, living that honky-tonk dream.
Thank you for attending, and again, go up and get you some fish and fish squares and whatever. Whatever, okay?
partial eclipses starting, remember, do not look at the sun without your eclipse glasses. And I just went over and looked, and we have a good clear sky right now, so we should be good to go. Now remember, it's not going to be a huge change real quick. It's gradual because it won't be till a little after 1:14 at exactly little after 1:14 will be when we start the totality. So we still have a good bit of time till that, but we are at 11:45 right now. 11:46 and 57 seconds is when we should start seeing the partial eclipses. So remember, look up only with the eclipse glasses on, and please, if you see a kiddo or an adult or anybody looking up without eclipse glasses, please tap them on the shoulder real polite, and everybody be respectful to your eyes, and go decorate a plate, little kiddos, so that you can slide your eclipse glasses in that you got at school, and be safe and cool, and come see me, and I want to tweet some pictures out of some of your plates you've decorated for your eclipse glasses. Have a great time.
So that's where it's in. The total eclipse may last less than a minute. We've got a minute, 10 seconds. Nancy, come over here.
You have to keep your glasses on though, or else
Using the glasses again. We have had totality, and now we'll come back out. What an awesome time.
Can you envision what you might see? Close your eyes for a moment and take a little trip with me. American Legion, Modern Woodman, the park, and Casey Hall, the library, the athletic association, soccer, concession stand, and baseball. Here are so many groups and clubs that help in so many ways. Benefits, fundraisers, and activities. It's amazing how much money they raise. The volunteer fire department, the elevator, and the bins. Carter Family Chiropractic, plus Bruce, the man behind the lens. Patsy and Ruth take care of the post office, get a frame at finishing touch. Lisa will enhance
the audience from Stolac, exactly as you see me now, and I've not yet started to skate. All right, as soon as you give me the word and start timing me, just say go like every 5 seconds. And I'll try to get out as fast as I can.
Don't anybody get close. Yeah, I'm gonna start swinging. I don't want anybody near me.
You have the keys in your pocket? I'm Alex. No, you don't.
You're up here.
Wait, get back here. He doesn't hurt us. Yes, it does.
She does the best that she can. Good-hearted woman, but had a good time in
Mexico JC's Soybean Festival. She's got a big seat. Hell, if you like to ride, we can live like it was yesterday, and the good times never die. Well, we've got a secret. Hell, it's our own little thing. I sing, let's go and take a ride in my time machine. Well, let's go and take a ride in my time machine. Up next is the Mexico Senior Center with the King and Queen, Mr. Robert Shuck, and Mrs. Anna Marie Alderson. That was what Lawrence called time machine, guys. Thank you. Okay, get out of my way.
Oh my god, 22.
Sorry.
Way go, Lathan! Good job, Lathan.
Finish strong.
Good job, Devin. Good job, Devin.
And in first place from Van Far, Lathan McMahon. Here too, there's 2 teams competing. In
You'll catch on. I only have to keep you. I promise. You'll get it.
Off to a good start.
So tell me why haven't I heard from you? They'll tell me why.
Now hold up, cut the drums, cut everything. I got this stuff. So before the song, we talked and y'all acted like y'all gonna sing with me. I didn't know y'all had a bunch of lines.
So I'm sitting here staring at the bottom. I wanna rewind, I wanna reignite that fire. I wanna relive, I wanna reform, I wanna redefine
Look into the mirror, who's inside there? The one with
Take a break, boys. Looks like we had another good year for the car show. Great turnout, great weather. Like to take a minute to thank Midmo Truck and Trailer, Aaron and Bob Cope. They help us every year. They give us a Charge and Go Max to hand out to one of the entries. Ameren sponsors the plaques and the dash plaques. Luther and Karen Spohr, couldn't do it without them. We brought my dad out of retirement. I don't know if he's still here or
with us. We just appreciate everybody coming out, and we hope you had a wonderful
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation by giving one more round of applause to all of our seniors and their friends.
The one we have tonight is Reagan Case.
How cool is this?
That's right. What's your own name?
Oh, Xavier, you got there. Good job. Oh, you almost got it, man.
Got 30 seconds left. 33 seconds.
Focus on the prize of our calling, not my neighbor's calling. But in that, we're all dressed up, and the fashion never deteriorates. It never dusts, amen? It never does anything that displeases my neighbor or dissatisfies or disrespects him. So what am I saying to you today? The abuse and the persecution and all the bad things that may have happened to you or your neighbor, you don't become the issue of something that's you. But dress yourself up daily that when you come out the door, everybody said, how are you doing and how are you? It's not about the fashion show. It's not about the chili cook-off. It's about togetherness.
Amen.
Come on, somebody. And when we gather together in the go-meeting place, that we be able to say our farewells, that if we don't see each other again, that God say it's well with us.
Thank you each and every one for being here today. We appreciate your attendance here today. It's an important day. In fact, it's a great day. And I think the way that I would ask that we start off, because this is in fact a celebration, is to give our little town of Vandalia, our end of this county, the people that live here and the people that have worked hard on this project. I think we should start off with a round of applause for all of us. It is Felicity, and Lori already said some good things about you. This project would not be where it is without the drive that Felicity has provided, and we appreciate it very much, Felicity. congratulations on that groundbreaking.
Thank you. I cannot take all the credit because everyone here has been a part of this. Some people, a lot of people know me, and when I go and I ask, okay, I need you to help me with this. One thing about it is they have a hard time telling me no. So thank you everyone for whoever I have asked to join a committee, help with something, donate, be a part of this. So thank you. It's just not me. I think one of the things, Roger, I can remember sitting at my kitchen table when Roger called and asked me, I want you to be a part of this YMCA. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got nothing going on in my life. Sure. So I said yes. And we had a meeting with the other members, and Sherry was there, and she said, okay, I need somebody to be chairman of this. And I looked around the room and I thought, okay, I'll be chairman. I can do this. Well, that was probably 5 years ago. And not that I haven't ever thought, oh my gosh, if I have to, and I'm sure my kids say this, and I'm sure Shan says this too, is you're doing another YMCA meeting, you're going to what? You're doing what? So this is huge. I mean, just for the community, it's huge for area farmers, area kids who want to come back. I mean, that's my main goal of why I said yes to this, is because we have 3 kids, and I would love it for all 3 of my kids to come back to the farm. But they need something. They need something to help bring this community back to life. And I think sometimes it takes a spark to ignite a fire. And I think that's what this has done with the business coming in, with some of the stuff downtown. So thank you. So a few things. I know Bill Howe has been on there and on this, and I want to thank him tremendously because I know he has gotten several phone calls from me. And like I told him, he never hung up on me, so that's all good. So thank you for this patience. And Tony Grove as well. I know we communicated a lot, lots of patience with that as well. Rural Morris, the Consolidated Board, the Vandalia Rec, the city, the chamber. I'm sure I have missed somebody, but, you know, thank you, and I can't wait for 8 months for this to be going. We, like everybody has said, we continue to need the support. So it's never too late to give whatever you have. You just want to make sure when that building is open, we have a recognition wall and everybody's name is on it somewhere. So I'm sure I've missed somebody, but again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart that this has finally come to, yes, we will have a building. And I know when it is complete in 8 or 9 months, whatever Tony can get done, that, you know, we'll have enough, there'll be enough funding for operation, there'll be enough funding for flooring of everything that we want. So everybody's just got to have that positive attitude and come with it. So,
and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank the Lord above to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Shining sea,
Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, while there's pride in every
is Taryn,
I'm Landon.
and we're going to be teaching you guys about where the things you use every day come from. So what are some things you guys use every single day? So this is where everything starts, right? Yeah. Who has something grown on a farm then? No. What do you have? A chicken? Rita.
Dang. Yeah. Apple farm. I got cow. Yeah, that's a tree farm.
I don't know.
Oh.
Where's that at? Oh, wait. Big little tube that has the gas coming out of it. It's not really gas, it's steam.
Yes.
A bunch of lights. They take corn or grain and they process it to make ethanol, which makes fuel for cars.
Thank you for all of your support, your contributions, your physical work, and just trying to pull this project together and being part of the community and making it work so well. Before we get started, I want to be sure and thank the patrons who have helped us to this point, but I also want to recognize some of our elected
This community
officials.
needs a library. You know, it's kind of a heart and soul kind of thing. We know what the community feels about the library, so we know we need a library, and it would be great if we had a YMCA. So the idea that those two things would be married up was kind of born there. Now, I'm not embarrassed a bit to say that's not how it turned out, because the way I think it turned out is just fine. It's just fine for the community. We've got a beautiful new library right here, and we've broken ground on another facility across the street. The community will have both. And so all the problems of them being together are solved by being separate, and yet they're close enough that it could very well be that somebody parks their car there and comes and uses the library facility and turns around and uses the YMCA facility. So I think it turns out really to be
Four of us not here yet, but we do have a meeting here tonight. You're welcome, always welcome at our monthly meetings. This meeting tonight happens to be here, so generally they're in Mexico about 8 months a year, and then we rotate to Martinsburg, Ladonia, Farber, and Vandalia throughout the summer months. So thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate your support, and we hope you're in the library regularly for the next 50, 60 years. So, thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, in memory of all those that passed away this last year, continue on.
Yay!
Well, I think the river was on the road the right way.
And Sharon Walshmar and Jim Purvis, and I think that's where we'll read about the remembrance of each individual person, and then they have a couple stars with ornaments, tree ornaments with their names on it.
Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you could say it glows. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in.
He brings us great joy. In his love we will stay. Let's gladly go out now and tell everyone the story of Jesus. He's God's only Son. Jesus is born is our good news to share. He brings joy for the world, everyone, everywhere. There he goes. And I heard him explain as he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. There he goes. Got a full moon, just like we have out there tonight. Did you guys notice we had a full moon out there tonight? There it is.
Had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you could say it.
I like candy.
Well, we got lots to do, Santa. We all about education here.
So you eat that one and then you can have some.
Oh, that's good. Sing the rest of the board tomorrow. Okay.
I would like to welcome you to our 2017 Christmas program. I, along with Grace Wells, will be your host for this evening. Christmas is forever. For you see, loving, sharing, and home to a nice job. Second and third grade will now sing Santa One of Great students. Let's welcome the Treasure and Tremble singers as they sing Music Matters. Wow, you guys should try out for the boys. Our last song of the night is brought to you by the kindergarten through 5th grade students. Music students are more likely to achieve higher math and verbal SAT scores.
On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me he'd never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sound of a hissing steam engine and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still, right in front of me. Lights are gleaming far across the snow. You're not dreaming. Who receives the birth of Christmas? The children ask. You will choose one of you. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached in my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa's sleigh. One of the children said, "Let's hurry outside and look for it." But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. everything had been unwrapped, Sarah noticed one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sled. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's just too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it is broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell. But as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all of those who truly believe. Christmas program presented by our 3rd and 4th graders. They put in a lot of hard work, so let's give them a round of applause.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight. There are no hour-long speeches tonight. We'll try to get her done. Pastor Chris?
You know, the tradition of Christmas trees dates back to Northern Europe, long before the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. In those days, they would cut down evergreen trees and bring them into their homes and put lit candles on their branches as a symbol of hope during the dark days of winter. After Christianity was brought to Northern Europe, the people gave Christian meaning to their old symbol. The evergreen branches now symbolize eternal life that was given to us through Jesus' death and resurrection, while the light symbolized the light of the world, Jesus Christ himself. The lighting of the Christmas tree has always been a symbol of hope.
2, 1. Checking it twice. Gotta find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Woo. I believe I see Santa Claus.
Santa's here. There's Santa, guys. Let's go see him.
You got red, didn't you?
Man, did well. Merry Christmas.
Hey, how are you, young man? How are you doing?
Open it.
Hello there, young man. How are you?
Oh, look at these guys.
Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You want a monster truck? All right. What do you want? Here, look at me, people. Over on this side.
Send it to me.
Hey, what do you want? What do you want?
That's horrible.
Hold on.
Merry Christmas, you little devil.
Say cheese. Say cheese.
Oh, trouble. There you go.
apart. For when we sing and dance and play, the music fills our hearts. We have some special songs we'll be working on this. Stay in your seats, don't leave the room, we want to say right now. We hope you like it so that we can take a bow. Praising God and saying glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
It's too early. I never have a summer snowflake. I always wait until January. It sure will brighten your leaves. You think you're so smart with that blanket? What are you going to do with it when you grow up? Maybe I'll make it into a sports coat.
I think you have a customer.
May I help you? Hi, I'm sad shape. Wait a minute. Before you begin, I must ask that you pay in advance. 5 cents, please. Boy, what a sound. I love hearing that old money clink. That beautiful sound of cold, hard cash. That beautiful, beautiful sound. Nickels, nickels, nickels. That beautiful sound of clinking nickels. All right, now, what seems to be your trouble? I feel depressed. I know I should be happy, but I'm not. Well, as I say on Mrs. Bill, of the mere fact that your life may help indicate that you are not too far crossing. I think we better. Or maybe you have pantophobia. Find out. You think you have pantophobia? What's pantophobia? The fear of everything. That's it! Actually, Lucy, my trouble is Christmas. I don't understand it. Instead of feeling happy, I feel sort of like now. You need involvement. You need to get involved in some real Christmas project. I would like to be the director of our Christmas play. Me? You want me to be the director of the Christmas play? Sure, Charlie Brown. We need a director. You need involvement. We got a shepherd, musicians, animals, everyone you need. We've even got a Christmas queen. But I don't know anything about directing a Christmas play. Don't worry, I'll be there to help you. I'll meet you at the auditorium. Incidentally, I know how you feel about all this Christmas business. Getting depressed and all that. It happens to me every year. I never get what I really want. I always get a lot of stupid toys or a bicycle or clothes or something like that. What is it you want? Real estate. Find the true meaning of Christmas. Win money, money, money. Spectacular, super colossal neighborhood Christmas lights and display contest. Lights and display contest? Oh no! Even my own dog has gone commercial. I can't stand it. Oh.
I've been looking for you, big brother. Will you please write a letter to Santa Claus for me?
I don't have much time. I'm supposed to be getting down to the school auditorium to direct the Christmas party.
You write and I'll tell you what to say.
Okay, shoot.
Dear Santa Claus, how have you been? Did you have a nice summer? How's your life? I've been extra good this year, so I have a long list of presents that I want.
Oh, brother.
Please note the size and color of each item and send as many as possible. If it seems too complicated, make it easy on yourself. Just say money. How about 10s and 20s?
10s and 20s? Oh, even my baby sister.
All I want is what I have coming to me. All I want is my fair share.
so wrong. Look, Charlie, let's face it. We all know that Christmas is a big commercial racket. It's run by Dickies to the syndicate, you know? Well, this is one Christmas play that's not going to be commercial. Look, Charlie, what do you want? Proper move. We need a Christmas tree. Hey, that's a tree. A great, big, shiny aluminum Christmas tree. That's it, Charlie Brown. You get the tree. I'll handle this, Brown. Okay, I'll take mine this weekend. The rest of you stay here and practice your lines. Get the biggest aluminum tree you can find, Charlie Brown. Maybe paint it pink. Yeah, do something right for a change, Charlie Brown. of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. The angel said unto him, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David, the Savior, which is Christ the Lord. This shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. For this day in the city of David, a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. This shall be a sign unto you. Highness is right. I won't let all this commercialism ruin my Christmas. I'll take this little tree home, decorate it, and I'll show them that it really Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, I'm not all is gold, all is bright, round young virgin, mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and the chorus, la 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 la, in merry measure, la 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 la. While I tell you Yuletide treasure, la 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 la. Listen, but do